Thank you for coming to my develop speech today. Biggest developer ever, I'm told, so nice to be here. I'm an ex-journalist, so I make no apologies for my clickbait headline for this speech, the one thing every game needs. But I do have the quick answer, which is the TLDR is a website. But why should you believe me? I've had 30 years in video games media. The one thing you could say about someone who's been around as long as I have is I'm a survivor. I started out as a Nintendo journalist, then edited a bunch of PC mags, was a boss at Future for a long time, and 11 years ago I was the co-founder of a company called Network N. We're up to about 160 staff now, an independent media business, and we do three things. We have a bunch of games websites, Network N Media. That includes a site called PCGamesN.com, second biggest PC game site in the world. We have a big multi-format called The Loadout, whose shirt I'm wearing today. We have the #1 mobile gaming site in the world and a bunch of others. So we own a bunch of brands. We also have an ad network called Publisher Collective. We sell ads on about 200 websites. So you'll see our pop-ups everywhere and our ads all over the internet. About over 100 million unique users every month come to our sites. And finally, we have an agency called Project N. That exists because I find it impossible to say no to things, and we needed a place to put all the other stuff. So Project N is a creative agency. We do a bunch of work for clients like Epic, Namco Bandai, Amazon, Red Bull, Riot, and a bunch of other clients. And today I'm mainly wearing my Project N hat because it's about building websites. I have a very cheeky slide next, and I think it may invite the first heckles. I think I have run and scaled more games media brands than anyone else alive. That's a bold claim, but I think it's just a function of time served. I know quite a lot about SEO as well. And today, though, I'm not going to sell at all, except for slide 45, the final slide, so look out for that one. Much of what I say may come over as terribly patronizing, and you may know many of these things. You're all clever people. If of the 22 things you should have in your website, you take one away, I've won today. So I have to get 1 out of 22. So here's what I'm going to run through. I'm going to tell you why you need a website. I'm going to tell you 22 things you have to get right, 5 mistakes you might make, and then I will present slide 45, where I try to sell you something. So why you need a website. Platforms are bad. You think that Steam is great for marketing and merchandising your game, but it isn't. And I'll tell you why. Steam owns your data. It owns everything about the user as they arrive there. It used to be that some of you would have known this. You could put your Google Analytics tag on Steam and retarget them, and you'd have insight into what happened, and you'd be able to buy ads, finding those people who've been to your Steam page. Since May, that doesn't exist anymore. So you can't retarget. You can't retarget on Xbox, PlayStation, or Epic either. And they really want to own the audience. So Xbox and PlayStation would be delighted to sell you advertising, but they won't let you access your users. They limit what you can say and do. Steam only allows 2 trailers before the first screenshots, for example. They're really crappy at celebrating the game on other platforms. So if you're building a cross-platform game and you want to tell people on PlayStation that game is cross-platform, it's not a good experience. And I'm going to go on about this a bit more, but they are really bad at mobile, these platforms. So in the event that you are building a website and you push someone to Steam, odds are the person is going to be looking at the web on the phone. And whilst many of you have smartphones, I bet you if I ask how many of you are signed into Steam on your phones, the number will be tiny. It's about 8 security leaps and get your PIN code back and remember your password. And even on the web, you're not signed in a lot of the time. So everyone focuses on wish lists, driving people into their Steam page, but there's a couple more hoops to jump through because you're not opening the app, right? And finally, they recommend other people's games on your page. Now, this is great when they're recommending your game on other people's pages. Not so good. Not so good when you're helping other people. So platforms are bad. And also there's a question of where do people go? Websites exist for search. And anyone tells you anything else is making it up. And you need to think about things like keywords that people might get people there, your genre, and your game name. And there's this scramble for search. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And mostly, people are going to send to platforms with search, if you Google a game name, or press. So I'll do a 10-second search lesson for you. There's a game called Brotato. I picked on that one because it hasn't got a website. I'm sorry, Brotato team. You can see Steam Charts shows loads of people are playing the game right now. Steam Charts is a published collective site, by the way, one of ours. And yet, they don't have a site. But I can tell you from Google AdWord Key Tool, which is the tool that people use to check how many people are Googling anything, that last month, 165,000 people, it is very small, 165,000 people Googled the word Bro Potato. Now, the game's on Switch and Steam, multiple platforms. And if you're Googling Bro Potato, you probably don't own the game yet because you're going, I am curious about Bro Potato. You're not Googling Bro Potato guns or Bro Potato mods. I've never said Bro Potato this many times. You're actually curious to buy it, right? And the number one result is Steam. And then there's all sorts of other results on the page. So here you can see Steam's number one and the other stores, but they have no control over their audience or their search result. On the right here, and here's the laser, look at that. On the right, there's like a knowledge box. And again, there's no direct link to them on it. And Google define a lot about what's in that featured snippet on the side. And search results are jammed full of key resellers. They work very hard at search. And so they'd much rather you bought the game off of their possibly gray version. And so your search result is full of these. And there's also people fighting over news, like us. We'll write about Terraria every day to try and generate news. And there's a bunch of other reasons. I could do a whole presentation about why you need a website. But if you send an influencer somewhere, where are you going to send them? Because it may be that they're talking about the PC version, but the user has a PlayStation version. You can iterate and just make it up as you go along without confusing the platforms, without asking their permission. There's this big level of detail. You can add extra functionality. You can build your own community tools. You could build like leaderboards. We built a cool set of leaderboards for Fortnite. You can do direct sales. People get very excited about that. It's heavy lifting. And you can control your identity of your players across platforms, which is dead important. So hopefully, we've established why you need a website. Let's talk about things you have to get right. And this is my gamble. 1 out of 22 is enough. First of all, you have to go and get a domain name. Now, my big tip is do not define the name of your game based on what .com is available, because you are going to be fishing in shallow waters, friends. I know that Threads has just launched, the new Twitter killer from Meta. They don't own the .com. They own threads.net. There's lots of different ways to solve not having the .com, such as you can add join your game name or play your game name, .com, or you can do a better suffix like .io or .net. And I beg you, do not use .co.uk. It may be available, or .co, or some strange shop, or online, or game. Just please don't use .co.uk. Well, you're British here, but don't. There's nothing that says small time more than a .co.uk domain. My next big tip is start early. Now, Threads, I'm going to pick on them again. When you Googled for Threads on the day they announced it, they went on the front page because there was nothing on the domain name threads.net. So Google hadn't decided that was where Threads lived. So as soon as you decide your site, put up a holding page, it can look crap because no one's going to go to it. All you're trying to do is tell Google, hello, here's a URL. It's about the game. Name your genre, talk about the game maybe. No one will see it. It doesn't matter. Just put some text up. Third tip is pick a platform for your main site. Now, people are going to try and sell you proprietary solutions. We don't do that, but many people do. And what they're going to sell you is something that is absolutely their engine and unique to them. And it's not going to be as good as the open source off-the-shelf tools. When we started our media brands, I built the world's most complicated tech solution. And about 5 years in, I realized I should have just started a WordPress blog, and I threw away all the stuff I'd made. WordPress is great. It's off the shelf. It's cheap. And if you want to bolt functionality in, it's the easiest platform because almost everything you want has been built for WordPress. And if you do get someone to help you, ask them repeatedly about the maintenance costs and if it's going to go down, because it will wobble occasionally. So you picked your platform and your name. Now, we're going to talk about how you describe your game. I'm picking on Guild Wars 2 for this. I've got some other Guild Wars pick-ons later on. I'm sorry. So Google has a thing called a SERP. It's a search engine results page, and that's the thing you see when you search for something. And you get 165 characters around that many characters to describe your thing. Steam, you get over 300. So you need to define your game in 165 characters so people can understand it. So if I Google Guild Wars 2 here, what I get is get up to 50% off a decade's worth of content. And Guild Wars 2 Elder Scrolls Dragon expansion sale. I don't get Guild Wars 2 is an MMO that's super well established with 80 million players and people love. Sign up today for free. So they haven't got a good call to action on the search. So all these people Googling Guild Wars 2, they've just got junk in the search result. So you need to be able to describe your game in 165 characters. If you go, say I can describe it in 20 characters, Google will not put that on the search engine result page. It will pick something else from the page. So aim for one about that length. It doesn't have to be 165 exactly. It could be 160, and Google gets very excited about the width of letters. If your game's got lots of O's in it, it's bigger and it fills more space. Start with a bang. You want to put a high-impact video on the top of your web page. And you've got to decide if you're going to put a YouTube video up or a video using your own video format. Just upload a video. Now, if you put a YouTube video up, there's some problems with it. It will try and roll onto another video of another game maybe on your game landing page. People will click through to YouTube. They'll leave your site really quickly because there's a big play icon on the YouTube video when you embed it. All right, so you're going to leak people immediately. Also, if you do a YouTube video, worry about the view count number because it's a social proof. If people come to your site and they click on a YouTube video at the top of your site, and they click through and see your video's got 300 views, they're going to think your game is insignificant. And if you do use YouTube, don't put comments on it. It creates needless debate. And this debate thing is really important for a reason why you want to own a website, because it's a place where you are not challenged by anybody. So I think put your own video file up. The next most important thing above the fold, when your page loads, is a call to action. And you've got to decide what you want and make that super clear up top. So if they stop paying attention after slide 6, you've still made sure that they have done the thing you want. It might be purchase, it might be follow, wish list, join the Discord. I love capturing emails because it's one of the few ways that you can reach out to people consistently if you want to. Users are clever enough to scroll, so if they want to find out more, they will. Now, you need to celebrate your game and talk about it. If they've arrived at your homepage, you have to assume very little knowledge. You have to talk about your game and why it's great. Don't be shy. Probably ask someone else to help describe it. Many of you are clever coders, but not great copywriters, so ask for help. Use words, pictures, show gameplay, because otherwise, a lot of the trailers I see are adverts for the genre rather than adverts for their game. Show the game, make people understand the gameplay loop. And I like allowing some choices on pages, like it could be scroll through the characters you might play, scroll through the environments, weapons, vehicles, that kind of thing. Make it slightly interactive so people feel that they're being involved and they're starting to interact and get some satisfaction back. Create a downloads area. You're going to want to show wallpaper of your game, avatars people share on social, share any concept art you've got, press assets. Now, I'm going to give you a great tip about screenshots. Upload thousands of the fuckers. Now, there's an important reason for this. Journalists, if you want a story to rank, the best thing to do is to use a unique image, right? So journalists are very excited if they can get a picture on a story that no one else has used. So upload too many screenshots. Have a very long page, and don't upload 1,000 screenshots to your Steam page, but on this press area, make sure that you've got too many. And whilst I have moaned about YouTube videos on your homepage, make sure that there's the opportunity to take YouTube videos from the page. Because again, press, they'll be delighted to embed your video because it makes the story have a longer dwell time and saves them time as excitable writers. Number 9, create a next step for creators. Can has key. Generally, what's going to happen is everyone's going to ask you for game keys, and that's the place they're going to look for them. There are many key delivery platforms. I quite like Keymailer, but there's others. Interest declared, I'm friends with the owner. But you need a way for creators who want to get in touch with you to get keys can. Otherwise, you're going to have a very full inbox and end up saying no, which is no fun. Create a place for news. You are going to talk about your game. You're going to share developer updates, and make sure you've remembered that slot. Now, you want to ensure that the post at the top of your news flow is sticky and timeless, because otherwise people are going to go, oh, they haven't put any news up for a little while. and because however hard you work, you may neglect it. Create an FAQ. You haven't got comments, so you can control the narrative. Route around your Steam reviews, or if you're in early access, for example. Google will tell you. You can see there's like a people also ask thing in Google. That's the kind of questions you might ask. And any inbound question you get, make sure it's added to the FAQ. Are you familiar with the term page slap? Page slap is when someone asks you a question, you send them a link to the FAQ, but you can hot link the link and say, there's the answer. Always put the system requirements, and if you can, put a system requirements checker. We own one called PC Game Benchmark. My favorite FAQ is the current BattleBit one. Is this Roblox? No. They cut to the chase because everyone's going, is BattleBit a Roblox game mode? I am obsessed with roadmaps. Make sure your site has got a roadmap because it will show that you are committed to the future of your game. I like the BattleBit one. It talks about all the stuff they've done and what they're going to do. Don't put exact dates. You'd be mad because you set yourself up for a fall. Because as soon as in July you don't ship the new gun, they're furious. So just be vague about dates. Put the image in your Steam carousel. And if you make the roadmap handsome, kind media owners will embed it in stories. There's a story on our site, PC Games Zen, with the beautiful BattleBit roadmap in it. Endorsements are great. You should use them. It's a way you can control the conversation. You know, we all have Steam reviews. Take from the Steam reviews. Don't be afraid to talk about Metacritic score or even Steam review scores. You know, if you could say your game has 28,000 overwhelming positive reviews, you should say that. You're trying to give comfort. If it's big, you should say. If there's player quotes or influencer quotes, you should use them. Influencer quotes are fine. Talk to the influencer first, but don't be afraid to use them. They're as good as press quotes these days. And if you're looking at media brands, there's a thing called SimilarWeb. SimilarWeb will tell you how big a site is. You may get very excited about a website that covers your game, but use SimilarWeb and check how big it is, and you can get a decent sense of comparison and see if it is a brand, and you can benchmark the endorsements you get. Talk about your company. Have a company page. Many people would forget this, and you're making I'm talking specifically about game-relevant pages. Now, you can make a page for your development studio, but you know this is talking about the game page, so don't be afraid to talk about it. Talk if you're hiring. And when you put the Contact Us button, be super careful because it will become an inbound for tech support. And I'll reintroduce the word page slap. You're trying to push people to your FAQs for that more. Add analytics to it. You'd be amazed how many people launch sites without any insights at all into who's on them. Google just broke analytics, and it's really grim. There's a thing called GA4, which is a new Google Analytics. It's OK. And there's a thing called Google Search Console, which you should be spending longer in. It's where you're actually going to be able to take proper actions from the insights. And don't forget about Bing. Bing's coming back, everyone. It's going to be fine because it's all about the AI now. Anyone from Microsoft here? Thank you. Put all the legal stuff on your page. Make sure if you have got PEGI ratings or any other ratings, make sure they're on there. That's where you put your EULA, privacy policy, copyrights, ethics, and cookie policy. Now, this is important. Don't just take one from someone else's site. You're going to need to actually get a decent one. Maybe lawyers can offer you cookie cutter ones, but you know you can't. You are driving people to your audience, and if you're doing it right, you are capturing some information, and you're going to wander into GDPR. So you need to actually take proper advice on it before you begin. And you need to have a cookie consent bar. Now, with Google Analytics Stack, you can cookie the audiences who come to your site. And you can also use things like the Meta Pixel, which is Facebook retargeting. So you are going to absolutely have to have a proper cookie consent plan. Now, this is beyond what you want to worry about, but you must do this. Otherwise, you will get in trouble. And you will have all these cookies, and then eventually you'll come to use them, and you'll realize you can't use them at all. There's about 20 different people who flog cookie bars, and I promise you there are lots of landmines to step on. It's quite a joyless exercise. And be good at SEO. You want to make sure that the page is going to rank for search. At the very least, you want it to rank for game name. In a good world, it will rank for your studio name as well. Ranking for genres is almost impossible, but maybe you'll get on page 12 for Puzzle Game if you do a really good job. There are lots of ways you can improve SEO. You can think about things like load times. You can think about the taxonomy of a page. There's something called H tags, which is the hierarchy of information on the page. You have to do that work. And what's super important is that your site looks great on a phone. People will come and show you your website. If you hire a designer, they will show you it on a desktop. And probably only a quarter of your visits to your game's website are going to be on desktop. It's all going to be on a phone. So make absolutely sure you've thought about how it looks there. And there's a phrase called mobile-first indexing. This is the idea that Google indexes the mobile version of your page before it indexes the desktop version. So that's the thing that decides how they rank. It's a bit inside baseball, but there's this thing called Google Page Insights, and we are 99% compliant, 99.8% compliant. And the relentlessness you need to make it perfect for mobile is quite grueling. Now you need to get people there. So you've built this lovely site, you've got all the cookie stuff working, and everywhere you should talk about this website. Whenever you talk about your game, whenever you do a press release, whenever you talk to streamers, links from your social platforms, link from Steam, you should be pushing people to it. The benefit of controlling the conversation and being able to drop the cookie so that you can buy advertising to retarget them is really important. If you're working with creators, you can add tracking parameters onto it, which is pretty handy. That's where you'd see a URL with a question mark and some stuff on it. They're really easy to make. You just go, oh, say it's joinbattlebit.com, question mark, influencer 12. And that will just come through, and it will appear in analytics. And you want to get them to come back. So you need to, if you've created these slots, I referred to this earlier, you need to make absolutely sure you are updating the slots frequently. It is heartbreaking to see sites where people just have given up and aren't updating, but they are updating their game. Every patch, every bit of story. Now, not many people are going to read this content, but it's a really important bit of hygiene that you make sure you do it. Beware old stuff. So another go. Look at that. So Guild Wars is the best demo of 2018, and that's on their site today. So good news there, 2018 fans. Yeah, old stuff. And then you find them again, and this is the most important bit. Half of the reason why I have a website is because you can buy advertising to retarget them. If you send people to Steam, the best you can do is to get on the wish list. If you're on a wish list, it's a great signal for Steam about prioritizing you, but the only time you can contact them is when you discount your game at a rate higher than 20%. So if you want to reach out to people and target them, you need to buy ads to retarget. All right. I've gone a bit quick, 23 minutes. All right, 5 mistakes people make. Why is it ugly? Many sites just look terrible, and I've no idea why. People spend so long making their game beautiful, and they just rock up with something that looks just terrible. Design considerations are really important, but if you just use the design agency, they won't talk to you about SEO or load times. They'll just make it beautiful. So you have to be able to balance that out and do both jobs. Why is it foreign? Now, you will localize your game, and you'll have it so it's in a bunch of different languages. But frequently, people do not add multilingual support to their websites, and that is very alienating. You can say, oh, it's going to be all right, Google Translate will figure it out. But if you put a drop down for languages, people will love you for it. And here's something grim, British friends. Write your site in American English. That means remove the U's. Companies are singular. You can find loads of style sheets. We forced all our British journalists to start writing American about a month ago. Didn't go down well. But the majority of the audience on this site are going to be Americans. You want the site to rank in America, so that means write in American English. There's a language tag in the code of the website where you set the language, set it to EN-US as default. Why are you ignoring it? So your website, you've done it and you're not looking at it. The content's out of date, and you're not looking at analytics or any data. You're not learning from anything that people are doing. You're not sending people there. You've sort of given up on it. And it's just a brochure that no one's really going to. Why can't I see it? So accessibility options are really important. And if you want to be ethical, and the good people are going to make it so things like you've thought about readability. Lots of people are slightly colorblind. So if you put lots of pink on dark backgrounds and show it in a room like this, it may be hard to see. And you want to have alt text on images. This is really important. Make it so that people can understand what's in the pictures if they are visually impaired. And I'm building up to the slide where I sell you something. Why are you doing it yourself? So I've shared 22 things you can do. And if you're a developer, you need to learn all this stuff. And you are super smart game developers, I imagine many of you. But there's loads of choices you don't take. You are not building your own game engine. And you will outsource some of the marketing, possibly, or some of the PR, but you'll think you're clever enough to build a website. And I've shared in these 42 slides a bunch of stuff, but really it's just a top line. There's a load of more mistakes you can make. There's a load more stuff you can do. So the headline for this presentation, the spammy headline, was one thing every game needs, which is a website. But I think the one thing every developer needs is a partner to build their website for them, which is us. And here's the sell. Don't nickel and dime it. You can build a website for $5, or you can build one for £20,000. If you build one for $5, it won't actually do anything for you. It will be a brochure. Whoever you talk to about building websites, us or someone else, if they say, yeah, we'll do it for $5,000 or $5, they're not actually doing the job. They're not integrating all the elements you need or committing to support you on the content you need in it. So George is there, and he'll take your orders now. And I'll open the floor for any questions. Last time I did one of these speeches, it was 4 o'clock on the Thursday, and there were 6 people. And they clapped, and I felt like I should throw them fish because it was so quiet. So I'm open for any questions. What have you got for me? The 2 gentlemen in the back, I'll take the one on the right first in the glasses, and then you, sir. I'll say you are as you ask the question as well. I'm always curious to know who I'm talking to. Hello, is this thing on?
Yeah, thank you very much about the talk. I had a small question concerning the domain name. Do you think it's mandatory that the domain name is the name of the game? Or is it okay to kind of have a page dedicated on the site of the company? So I have like a company domain name / name of the game. So it would be like a sub-page on the website? Or do you think like it's...
If you're lucky to have lots of games, you will want a company site, and you will want some of this stuff to be on the site. We built a site for Curve Games, which was hello customer. We built a site for Curve Games, which is a corporate site. But I always wanted to build a Humorful flat site because actually there's a lot of rich functionality in the game. There's like mod support, and yeah, I think Epic has epicgames.com, but it also has a Fortnite site. So I think if you're a one-game company, start with the name of your game, but also register the name of your company. I think first game, why wouldn't you maximize the chance of success of the game by having a website for the game?
So for first game, you would do 2 websites. So a website for the company and a website for the game that are kind of linking to each other?
Yeah, it's fine. I think no one's going to... so maybe you're lucky and someone's going to buy your company, but there's a lot more people who might want to buy your game. So I would build with customers in mind and start with a website about the game. You want a holding page for the company, but it's not going to do the same amount of traffic. And I think you want to if it's your first game, maximize the chances of success of the game. Put all the wood behind that arrow. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Hello. I was just wondering, you're trying to explain to a developer, that your USPs for the website. How do you justify the price tag?
No, because I'm about to do it cheap. It doesn't matter. I think the point is you spend a lot more than that making the game, and I've shared everything, so you can make it yourself, right? I think as a developer, your time is precious, and I'm an entrepreneur, and during the first years of the company, I did everything. I am not very good at accounts. And I did them badly and slowly. And I realized that I should have just done my superpower and not mucked around trying to learn new things. I'm at an age where I don't want to learn anything new. So I just think that I think there's a massive range, right? And you can build a brochure for £5. That's fine. But if you're going, I want to have my data strategy working, I want to have a EULA, I want to retarget, I want to have all this cool shit. I think it's not a code base. You're not delivering a WordPress site because you can just buy a WordPress theme for £25 that looks quite handsome. It's a huge range, and I put that up there to price condition rather than say that's what it is. But I think if you're serious about it, you need to invest in it, and it's okay if you don't want to. But I think the worst thing to build a bad website, or to not have, or to spend 7 grand and think you've got something, but then go, why have we not got any data on our users, for example? Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll take the gentleman back in the hat next.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm from my own company, Aero Astro Arts Limited. Shameful plug there. But I wanted to ask, sorry if I've missed a little bit of your talk, but do you think adding like a community, like a forum to your site adds value? And is that something that you should like add mods in and like maintain over time, just like you would your main site?
I think if it's your first game, I would err towards building a Discord server, actually. And I think you need a great place, though, to share the join Discord link. I think that will be easier to recruit moderators and give you a slight bit of distribution for it. You know, again, dead forums are very sad. Dead Discords are less sad. So I think you have a better chance of success with Discord. We've, as a business, we've helped people build their Discord servers. So, but it's not automatic that Discord server will work. So we built the official Namco Bandai Elden Ring Discord server and did lots of energy into that. So I think I would go with that. I'd go with Discord. If your game is complex, you may want to own your own wiki, though. So Stardew Valley, Concerned Ape have their own wiki, and they control the conversation about the game. It's a nightmare for us as a website owner because I want to do loads of Stardew Valley traffic. But I think the complexity of the game lends itself towards a wiki. If your first game is a bullet hell, there's not going to be a lot of chat in your forum, and you're not going to create a wiki off it. Depends on the game, really. All right. Okay. Next question. Gentleman in front. It's a really long time to leave a price on screen, isn't it? I should have left a slide that shows all the great websites we've done. Hang on.
What would you say is the best thing to include in your website? What would hook people to always go on the website?
Make your game great. That's more important than anything I'm saying now. People are not going to, no one's going to bookmark your website, and no one's going to check back on it day after day. All right, that's not. Anyone that tries to sell you that dream is a liar. You're building the site to respond to search for your game name and as a place to send updates. If your game is thrilling and you drop a new character every day that is more than just a JPEG with some stats, great, maybe they'll come back. I think I would concern myself less with repeat visits, more about servicing the first inquiry.
All right,
yeah.
Thank you.
Lady there.
So I just have a question about the American English versus UK English. Can you elaborate on that? Like, does it help with the SEO or something?
Yes, and it's less alienating. So, you know, if most of your audience is going to be in America, and you write in British English, the Americans are going to be uncomfortable, and they'll say, "Why have you spelt favor wrong?" You know, and it's okay. Well, it's a slightly different language, and you want to go with the biggest audience. So I think the first thing is you want your audience to feel utterly at ease. And if we do the thing that as Brits we want to do, it won't work. For search, I believe it helps a little bit, and it's a small factor. You know, if Google has 2 sites it's trying to rank, and one is American English and one is English, British English, whatever you call it, and they're exactly the same, and it's in America, I think it would choose the American English one. But it's a subtle win. And you know, I think American English is the version that is international English as well. That's what we have to accept. You know, people aren't spelling favor with a U anywhere but in these glorious islands. So
were there data, like, was there research done on like how many more American gamers versus internationally?
It's not just American English. It's not just Americans I'm serving. You know, in South Korea, they'll spell favor without a U. So if in the event that people are learning English across the world, they'll learn it in American English, is the norm now. So yeah, and there's a lot more Americans than there are Brits, that's for sure. You know, Australia may spell it with a U, I don't know, but there's dozens of them versus loads of Americans.
Thank you.
Hello, in the headphones.
Hi. So I was wondering how important and also how far should legacy browser compatibility be taken?
Didn't quite get that. Go again.
Like, I guess.
Mic closer.
Oh, sorry. How important and how far should legacy browser compatibility be taken?
I think if you're worrying about that, you're picking the wrong fight. I think make it. I think if you're doing something super complex where the browser is important, you're in trouble. But I think no, just I think that's it's a very inside baseball question. Don't give it a second's thought. Just don't make it like a GeoCities page that'll work on every browser. That's my tip. Yeah, that's a technical one. Any other questions? You sir, hello with the bid. Lou.
Thanks. Sorry. Would you recommend having any like in-game functionality in the website, like, I don't know, a character creator that you can make a character on the website and then it can go into the game, or you can play it in the game somehow? Because some websites do that, but do you feel like that's worth doing, or do you think the game should be completely separate from the web experience?
If you have the energy and bandwidth to do it, and sometimes if it might be that Unity has a big button to export some of it to the web in OpenGL or whatever they call it. So there may be ways that you can distribute, I think. And if your game's going to have a very long gestation and character creation is important, perhaps, I think you could easily I'd make your game great first, and you could have a jury-rigged version of it, like a Choose Your Own Adventure where there's static pictures. I think you could distract yourself epically by building this beautiful web experience when I'd rather you made the game 1% better. You could, if you had a CCG, you could say pick one of these 3 cards and see what happens, and you can just do that with HTML. It's not going to be complicated. So I'd be careful of getting overexcited about building that. Now, if your game's massive, one of the ways that a website is good is you can do things without asking for the development team's help. So with Epic, we worked on a bunch of web stuff for Fortnite that didn't need any help from the developers, and it was like leaderboards and influencer challenges, with the objective that we couldn't ask any. It had to be like open or sign in, and we couldn't get any help from the mothership. We had to just do it all independently. So that might work, but I think I wouldn't put too much energy into it, sir. Who's next? You at the front.
Yeah, hello there. Really good talk, thank you. You have been focusing a lot in the games that are already there, already developed. But what about about your early production in your game? Like, how early can I start to preoccupy for the website in this case? Like, let's say my game is gonna last like 2 years. Like, should I start to focus in the creation of the web page from?
Great question. I would probably only spend £10 on it, and what I'd do is I'd go £15 for the URL. I'd buy a URL, and I put some text on describing your game, and that will take you 15 minutes. There's the best time to start your website was yesterday. The next best time is today. So I think there's no reason not to have something live. No one's going to look at it and nick your ideas, but you are just populating a URL if someone ever Googles it. And I think, again, I would say concentrate on your game, and as it gets closer as you want to share, that's when you might deploy the resources. Yeah, but
okay,
just getting a URL and putting some text up will take you minutes.
Okay, just a second question, really quick one. Do you also have like any service for work for hire? Let's say like my company is providing a work for hire. Like, do you also develop this kind of sites?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we have. I would definitely. I would start by trying to improve your LinkedIn page, actually, and making sure that was glorious. Because actually, for work for hire, you want to build data there. So we do some work like that. But also, you do want to show that you are real, and a website is a good way of doing that. Because I think it'll give a lot of reassurance. So yeah, we have done B2B stuff like that. Yeah, but I would first of all argue with you about your LinkedIn presence.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next? How am I doing for time? How much longer have I got? Whoop. 4 minutes left. Oh, hello,
Hi.
sir. Hi.
Sorry, I missed the start of the talk, so maybe you said this, but are you sharing the slides online at all?
I will be, and also the developer organization upload the whole speech anyway. So you'll get to hear my controversial thing at the very start as well.
Get
which
a
you
few
missed.
rewatches. Thanks.
So the slides will be publicly available. And the weird thing about this presentation, I've shown everything. So really, I encourage, you can do your own if you want, and it's everything you need to do it. We just say we can do it for you. Yeah, so yeah, all it will be available. Yes, sir.
Hey, do you have any examples of like new company websites that you've built that have been quite unique, or that you've seen particularly great traffic from, and something original that you've done for them?
Yes. I'll see us afterwards. Yeah, we built lots of sites for devs, and George here will show you an example. We're right now, we're most recent builders for Dual. Help me, George. Detail. Nice and loud. Yeah, so DC Dual Force, we've just built their site. That's why I talk about CCGs, because it's got cool functionality about sharing cards, and that's building traffic. The caveat I'm going to say about all these websites is the traffic is going to be humble at first. Yeah. You know, the idea is, if people Google your name, you want it, but you've got to get them to Google the name of the game and distribute a bit. Yeah, so we got built dozens of websites. So yeah, we can show you some.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
But the other thing I want to say though is when you review that, these websites are not shops. Xsolla and lots of these companies will sell you like online shops, and that's not our goal here. The goal is to build the brand of the game and possibly refer to a shop, possibly do direct sales, but we're not building shops. So when we go, how many copies of the game did that sell? That's sort of the wrong question, because we should refer to Steam well or Switch well. Yeah. I'm going to take the last question, so make it a good one, team. Yes.
What do you feel makes your website special then? Finish on a selling point.
The websites we build, we know quite a lot about games, and we think about it holistically. You will get dozens of vendors who do dozens of jobs, but very few glue it all together. And the saddest moment we have as a business is where we are wheeled in late, and they go, well, here's the lovely design we've had the design agency make. And we go, yeah, they haven't put the name of the game on as text, or they haven't thought about this. And I think we are specialists at games. We are not specialists at design or any of these other topics. We're good at all of them, but I think our holistic approach is the key points of difference. And for the sites we own, the reason why we've grown them so well, our own brands, is we are relentless at search. I had a slide in that was a bit more boasty about SEO that I took out. Thought that was awful. So that's it really. I think the holistic approach is the trick. And I think if the reason why I had the balls to show a slide that said 20 grand is it's all the bits, and you'll find someone who'll do the graphics for 3 grand, and you'll find someone who'll put a cookie bar on and build your data pools for another grand. But you have to glue it together. And either you have to do that, or you have to get a single vendor that can do it. Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming, everyone. I'm going to be hanging around a bit outside with George, who is actually doing the work. I'm just a good spokesman. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.